Hey guys, it's Ravenhawk6910 reporting once again. It is December of 2021 and I wanted to do a little bit of a layout update for you guys. Now, forgive me, this is not how I typically like to do my layout update videos, but the audio messed up on over half of these clips and I'm not willing to go back and refilm everything. So we're going to do a voiceover here, so I hope you don't mind. But got some scenery updates I want to show you guys. Some little things that have gone on here and there, some new rolling stock, some custom loads I've been doing, and a few other things. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. As you can see here, I finally got a DCC decoder into my Athearn Genesis UP4014 Big Boy. It's just the lock pilot for now, so no sound, but that's okay. I still get the lights and still get the firebox glow, much to my surprise. So that's really cool. And it's nice to have the 4014 being able to run on DCC now. So, but maybe one day I'll get sound put in it, maybe not, we'll see. But for now, I'm just happy to be able to run it. And as you can see, it is surrounded by tons and tons of trees that I've been working on. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those trees. Now, I mentioned in a previous update the trees that I had gotten from Woodland Scenics, and they were fairly decent in height. They were about maybe 3 to 5 inches maximum height. So I went ahead and ordered some more trees that were higher. These range anywhere from, I think 5 to 7 inches high. And I've just been bending the armatures right now. I've gotten some more trees put up with some foliage and such, and they look good. I've just been trying to work on just maybe 2 per night when I come home from work, and I gotta tell you, it is very therapeutic to just sit down here and build trees. So that's really cool. I got some more grass tufts put down. We're up to, I believe, 342 individual pieces of grass tufts glued down. So moving right along. It's probably going to be up in the thousands before we get this one shelf section finished. But it's pretty cool, and it's starting to look like an actual layout and not just a piece of wood. So that's pretty cool. Now, most of the trees are Woodland Scenics. However, I did find a couple of these dollhouse trees at Joann's, and I decided to give them a try. I bought 1 packet of them, and they look pretty good. But the downside is that normally these are $13 to $14 for 3 packs for a 3-pack of trees, and that's pretty steep for what you get. Whereas with the Woodland Scenics, you get a whole bunch of the kits, and then you just buy the foliage and make it yourself. So they work fine. However, I would not recommend buying them in bulk. I would recommend certainly building your own. Also, while looking through some of my old stuff, I found 3 N-scale trees that I had from a previous layout back when I used to do N-scale in high school. So I took these and put them on the layout as just kind of filler material, and they're really good for just filling in gaps in between trees. I did go ahead and paint the trunks on them raw umber, so that way they blend in a lot better. Because originally they were almost like this viney green for the trunk, and that just didn't look right. So that's really cool. So as far as that goes, this side of the layout is looking pretty good. Looking straight down the forest looks pretty good. I am going to keep going and putting more foliage onto these trees. I'm just waiting for another order to come in, and I've also got to get some more hot glue. But once we get to going with that, it'll start to look really good. Down here on the other end of the layout, next to the Amazon facility, I've got these 3 trees put up here in what's going to be a little park area. And I've also got my first figures put here on the bench work as well. I've got a little... these figures were in a set from Woodland Scenics called Hobos in the Park, I guess. And there was this park bench, this guy playing a guitar, and then this little wastebasket here. So I just decided to glue them into place, and they look pretty good. You know, it's nice to see them just sitting there by the railroad track. So that's pretty cool. They look really good. So as far as scenery goes, we're really done as far as this part of the update. Now, in addition to the big boy, you also saw I got my Scale Trains Santa Fe SD40-2 Snoot Nose in. and that looks really cool. That's such a cool locomotive. I might do a review video of it. We'll see. Things are really busy right now with the Christmas season at work. I'm working 60-hour weeks, so I only get one day to come home and just do stuff, but I'll see what I can do. And also, I got these two. These are really nice. These are Athearn Ready to Run C44-9Ws in the Chicago and Northwestern colors, and die-hard rail fans will recognize these two as the infamous CNW Twins, 8701 and 8646. And I got these from James Wright. He got the Athearn Genesis ones, and I got these Ready to Run ones once he got those units in from him. So thanks, James, for selling me those units. They're really cool. But they're just straight DCC. They've got the Digitrax DH123s in there. For some reason, 8701 isn't responding right now. It's not working, so I may send it off to someone to have that looked at. But for now, 8646 runs, and once I get the pair of them going, that'll be great. So that's really cool to have the CNW Twins. I never got to see 8646, but I did have a Kato model of it years and years ago when I did HO originally, and I did get to see 8701 in person back in 2014, so it's nice to have both of these units in my collection. So, kind of straying a bit from the Canadian stuff as far as the HO stuff goes, but screw it, what can you do? Now, before we move on to the freight car section, I want to talk about this real quick. This is my center beam flat that I got at the train show. I finally got a lumber load for it, which is definitely helping as far as weighing the car down. And I wanted to get a Canadian lumber company for it, so I did finally. Took me a little bit to search for it, but I did find a Canadian lumber company there on the wrap, so that looks really cool. So now, what I want to do is show you guys some of the rolling stock I've been working on. I've been doing some weathering here recently using a technique that I learned from NS Modeler 24's channel. I'll drop the link to that video in the description box, and you can check that out at your leisure. But basically, it just involves raw umber paint and a dry paper towel. And I do recommend you use acrylic paint for this, because I have never had much luck with oil paints with this, but I wanted these cars to just have somewhat of a weathered look to them. So I started with my Esquimo and Nanaimo car from my CP work train, and it looks so good with this weathering job. I also did the same thing on this Family Lines box car that I got at the train show, the Western of Alabama one. Again, just to give it a little bit of road grime, so that way it looks pretty good as is. And the one that probably looks the best, arguably, is this Southern Railway one, and it just looks so good. Now, I do need to get some Krylon Crystal Clear to seal these in, but other than that, they're ready to go. And then next up, I worked on a custom set of loads for my bulkhead pulpwood flats that I got at the train show in Cartersville. And these I just made out of half-inch wooden dowels and then painted raw umber paint on all of these, a few coats of them, just to give them that fresh-cut timber look. And while they're not perfect, they're not super detailed or anything like that, they do look the part, and I think they look really good. You know, I got one with 6 and then 2 with 5 in each of them, so that weighs the cars down pretty good and they don't derail. Now, I do need to still put metal wheels on them eventually, but for now, they're pretty good. And then some new rolling stock that's come in. This is an old Athearn Blue Box Grand Trunk Western boxcar. I may do the same weathering technique to it at some point, but this thing is just so pretty. I just kind of like the bright blue, so we'll see what happens. And lastly is this Santa Fe baggage car from Walthers. Now, I got this from my buddy Logan Allen, so thanks, Logan, for trading me this car. And this is one of the bicentennial cars, and it looks so cool. It's basically a custom generator car that the Santa Fe did, and they even added the little details of the exhaust stacks and such on the top of the car. So, and considering that one of the Santa Fe bicentennial SD45-2s is going to the Southern California Railway Museum in Paris, it's pretty cool to have this car. The only downside is that now I'm probably going to want to find that SD45-2 to go with it. So, what can you do? So that's basically it for this update. One last thing before I love you and leave you, though. I wanted to give a shout out to one of my co-workers for getting me this as a Christmas present. This is a, I think, anyways, brass 3-dome 2-rail O-scale tank car. And this is super nice. I mean, it's an older car, you can definitely tell, but he found this somewhere. I believe he said it was a estate sale or something like that, where a lady's husband had a 2-rail O-scale layout in their garage, and this car was in there, so he liked it, he thought about me, so he bought it for me. So thanks, Jeremy, for getting me this car, and it's going to be really cool to have this on the O-scale layout once we get around to building it. So really awesome piece. And what's cool is that even though it does have scale wheels and scale couplers, I can actually convert it to 3-rail trucks if I want to. In fact, I might use this as my idler car for the Santa Fe 3000 eventually, because I can just swap out the 3-rail trucks and put a 3-rail coupler on one end and keep one of the scale couplers. So, but we'll see what happens with that further down the line. But for now, that's basically all I got for you guys. So sorry this update came out a little bit later than I anticipated. You know, with the Christmas season at work, things get very busy. But the plus side is I'm making a lot of money to go towards the model trains, and that's always a good thing, right? So thank you guys so much as always for watching. I always appreciate your love and support, and thank you guys so much for helping me get through a pretty rough year. So I will see you guys with the next update. Might be around Christmas, we'll see. But until next time, this is Ravenhawk6910 signing off.